Our top focus story in this bulletin. Now, in a departmental inquiry that was ordered in the brutal assault of a two-wheeler motorist and his sister by the Bangalore Traffic Police, the Deputy Commissioner of Traffic Police, East Bangalore, has informed Headlines today that he has sought a report into the incident from the ACP Traffic within a week and that the case has been taken up suo motu. The DCP has assured action against the errant traffic cop and will be taken based on the probe report. Well, these visuals were recorded last Sunday of how a motorist was fleeing in an auto and was constantly being beaten up by this traffic constable that you can see. And now it seems the Police Commissioner Bangalore has ordered a probe into the entire incident and action will be taken against the errant cops. I'd like to cut across to my colleague Pratibha Raman. Pratibha, the fact is that if there was no documentary evidence that we are showing right now to our viewers, there would have been absolutely no action taken in this case.
True. In fact, if there was no circumstantial evidence, there wouldn't be any kind of action that can be initiated by the traffic police authorities. But now that you have a clear-cut evidence, still fingers pointing at the traffic police department saying not enough action taken or not immediate action taken either, because they've only ordered a departmental inquiry where they have to submit a report within a week's time. And in this particular case, the victim, all that he has done was questioned as to why there's been partiality that has been imposed by the side of the traffic police. And mere questioning has resulted in such kind of wrath, and even the police department seems to say that the police must have been provoked for him to resort to such kind of a behavior. So this is the kind of attitude that's portrayed by the traffic police authorities, but we'll have to wait and see what kind of action will be initiated once the report is submitted.
Can you take us through the sequence of events, Pratibha? We are playing the video for the benefit of our viewers and what exactly transpired. Can you take us through the sequence of events of this incident?
Yes, well, the event happened on Sunday morning when one of the persons wanted to drop his sister at the office, and he was passing via this area called Indra Nagar, which is one of the posh localities, and he was stopped by a cop there for not wearing his helmet. And he was in fact ready to accept the violation and ready to pay the fine. And during the wait, the sister did see passers-by who were moving on the road without helmet, and when she just merely questioned him as to why they were let off and why these people were the ones who were caught there and made to pay the fine, and at that minute the traffic cop got pretty aggressive at that time, and he started abusing her, screaming at her, and the brother, being a brother, was trying to protect his sister there and thwart the policeman from being so aggressive, and that is when such kind of an action. In fact, if you look at the video, you can see the brother running away, fleeing from the cop and trying to get into the auto to save himself from being beaten, but then the traffic police going repeatedly following him and thrashing him into the auto. So that is how brutal the traffic police can get here. So many fingers pointing and onlookers there, not trying to help him, but then merely watching. So this has raised a lot of question on the attitude that has been exhibited on the side of the traffic police here.
All right, Pratibha, I'd urge you to stay on with us on the phone line. We are shifting focus to another story that is making news, and Pratibha is reporting on that story as well. Now, there is tragic news that's come in from Telangana's Rangareddy district. A 4-year-old girl's body has been recovered by rescuers after more than 2 days that she fell into an open borewell. Girija accidentally fell into the deep borewell of 120 feet on Sunday. Elaborate rescue efforts were put in place, but the little girl could not survive. I'd like to cut across back to Pratibha Raman. Pratibha, you've been tracking this story very closely. Tragic news coming in after 2 days now. The body of that young girl has been recovered.
Yes, Preeti. In fact, at least till about 12 hours ago, there was some amount of hope that they would reach the child very soon, because the child was stuck at roughly about 45 feet and a parallel trench was dug up so that they could reach the victim faster there. And they were slowly going horizontally towards the side of the victim. But then it was unfortunate that there were rocky layers in and around the spot where the victim was stuck, and it made it quite difficult in terms of progress to reach the victim by the rescue operators there. They had to use special tools that had to be procured for this particular case to scrape through that rocky surface. But then it's unfortunate that when they found the victim finally, they had to find the victim in a decomposed state, not alive there. And also to know that the child was a motherless child, the family is completely distraught by this. But then here again, so many reports on such kind of tragedies, not just in Telangana but even in Karnataka, that we've reported many a times on our channel as well. But then no action whatsoever taken by the governments, be it Telangana or be it Karnataka.
All right, appreciate you joining us. Pratibha Raman getting us the very latest on this tragic news coming in from the Telangana state. Tragic story of how after 48 hours the body of young Girija was found just a few hours later back. We'll keep tracking details on that story. Moving on in the bulletin, legislations were written, promises were made and tall claims were also promised when Nirbhaya was brutalized in the national capital on December 16, 2012. But it won't be an exaggeration to say that the rage could not change much on the ground. After the new government took charge, Modi announced opening of 660 rape crisis centers across the country. And to this effect, the Women and Child Welfare Ministry has written to all state MPs asking them to start looking for the land which will be converted into rape crisis centers. But only 2 MPs responded to the ministry. After dismal response, the ministry then approached the chief ministers of all the states, and till now they are awaiting response.
इच्छा शक्ति नहीं है, पॉलिटिकल विल नहीं है, और अगर होती तो क्योंकि महिलाओं की सुरक्षा, महिलाओं के लिए किया गया कोई भी कार्य वो किसी भी पार्टी पॉलिटिक्स से ऊपर उठ कर होना चाहिए। और इसमें ये नहीं देखना चाहिए कि कौन सी पार्टी कहाँ किस प्रदेश में है। महिलाएं हैं, जीती जागती इंसान है, बेसिक ह्यूमन राइट की उनकी दरकार है, और उसको देने में अगर आनाकानी बढ़ती जा रही है राज्य सरकारों द्वारा, तो मुझे लगता है कि ये बहुत गंभीर मुद्दा है और इसका जवाब महिलाओं को अपने या तो नो वोट करके, क्योंकि 0 टॉलरेंस की बात होती है, वोट देने से इनकार करके देना चाहिए, या सही व्यक्ति या सही लोगों को वोट दिया जाए ताकि अकाउंटेबिलिटी से
हर प्रांत में, हर स्टेट में रेप क्राइसिस सेंटर ज़रूर होना चाहिए। क्योंकि जिस तरह से हमारे यहाँ वारदात आजकल हो रही हैं, तो इसमें तो गवर्नमेंट को बहुत जल्दी, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स को खुद ही आगे बढ़ के उनको अपनी ज़मीन देनी चाहिए और आगे बढ़ के इसमें हाथ बटाना चाहिए। इसमें कोई पार्टी पॉलिटिक्स बिल्कुल नहीं होनी चाहिए।
According to the scheme, every state had to allocate 300 square meters of land for Nirbhaya Center, which will be used to provide legal and medical aid to rape survivors. So far, only Madhya Pradesh, Punjab and Haryana have responded to the Women and Child Development Ministry's initiative. And the irony is that the very national capital, which witnessed the horrific gang rape, has failed to respond to the ministry.
कहूँगा रेप क्राइसिस सेंटर का क्या कॉन्सेप्ट है? पूरे ज़िले में एक सेंटर खोल के क्या आप इस पे किसी तरीके का कंट्रोल कर पाएंगे? अगर आप ईमानदारी से करना चाहते हैं, हर पुलिस स्टेशन के अंदर एक अलहदा से सेल बना दीजिए। उस सेल के अंदर ऐसे लोगों को बिठाइए कि कोई भी अप्रोच कर सके। कानूनी व्यवस्था स्टेट गवर्नमेंट की जिम्मेदारी है।
मैं इतना ही कह सकता हूँ कि ये विषय बड़ा गंभीर है और इसकी गंभीरता को देखते हुए कहीं वुमेन एंड चाइल्ड मंत्रालय ने इसको मांगा है, तो इस पे ध्यान देते हुए हम सभी को, मैं किसी एक राज्य के ऊपर टिप्पणी नहीं करूँगा, मैं कहूँगा जितने भी राज्य हैं सबको इसमें एक कदम आगे बढ़ना चाहिए। केंद्र ने मांगा है, उसके लिए फंड्स हैं, और प्रधानमंत्री भी जानते हैं कि इसमें एक ट्रॉमा सेंटर जो होता है, जो रेप विक्टिम्स का, वो होना चाहिए। तो ये अच्छा कदम है और सबको इसमें मिलकर इस काम को पूरा करना चाहिए।
A quick look at this point of time at what else is making news across the country. All 5 accused have been found guilty of gang rape of a call center worker in Delhi in 2010. Dwarka court will pronounce the quantum of sentence on Friday. A 30-year-old woman was abducted when she was walking home with her colleague at night after her shift had ended. For over 30 minutes, she was raped in a moving vehicle. Continuous decline in food prices has pulled down the September wholesale price inflation to 5-year low at 2.38%. The wholesale price index based inflation was at 3.74% in August and 7.05% in September 2013. Supreme Court has adjourned the Tata Shingur matter to 19th November due to time constraints. In the next hearing, Apex Court will take up the issue of validity of the Shingur Land Act, which the Calcutta High Court had struck down as unconstitutional in June 2012. Well, on the eve of when Maharashtra goes to polls, an editorial in the Shiv Sena mouthpiece Samna slammed the BJP a day ahead of polling. In the editorial, Uddhav Thackeray took on the BJP, accusing it of indulging in politics in the name of religion and caste, linking him to Lalu Prasad and Mulayam. Taking a dig at Prime Minister, Modi Shiv Sena mouthpiece also hit out at the BJP, saying it was trying to play the Gujarati card. It said that the BJP has landed the whole cabinet under Narendra Modi's leadership in a bid to defeat the Shiv Sena. The editorial also said that Bal Thackeray memorial promised by the BJP is laughable. On the other hand, Raj Thackeray's alleged bid to polarize voters ahead of elections in Maharashtra has earned him a notice from the Election Commission. The MNS chief has been asked to respond by 11 a.m. tomorrow, which is when the state votes. The EC has warned Raj Thackeray that if he fails to reply within the stipulated time, the poll watchdog will take action. And here is what got Raj Thackeray into trouble. Raj Thackeray, while addressing a rally, reportedly promised jobs to Marathis and said he would bar the entry of non-Maharashtrians in the state, saying there would be questions on the trains itself. Now, a focus on the battle for Maharashtra. Extensive security arrangements have been put in place to ensure voting on the 15th, that is tomorrow. Over 2 lakh state police personnel along with the reserve police have been deployed across the state. Special security arrangements have been made in Gadchiroli, the Naxal-infested district, to thwart any possible disruptions by Maoists. In Mumbai alone, close to 40,000 policemen, including paramilitary forces, have been deployed to help smooth voting at 9,920 polling booths in 36 assembly constituencies. Meanwhile, Pakistan is not giving up on its double standards, continues its double speak, the latest violating the ceasefire treaty yet again. Fresh shelling has been recorded at 3 posts in the Balkot area of Poonch sector. The Indian Army said to have returned fire. This fresh provocation comes right after Pakistan and Indian armies established contact through the hotline to ease renewed tensions at the border. Senior Pakistani and Indian military officials spoke to each other on the hotline today and discussed ways and means to reduce tensions along the line of control and the international border. The contact was established today between Director Generals of Military Operations of the Pakistani and Indian armies. This new development came around immediately after the UN refused Pakistan's plea to interfere on the Kashmir issue. Pakistan's Nawaz government was left red-faced after the UN snubbed its efforts to internationalize the Kashmir issue. The United Nations reportedly ignored Islamabad's bid to seek its intervention over the Kashmir issue. The world body said that India and Pakistan need to resolve all differences through dialogue to find a long-term solution to the dispute. Sartaaj Aziz, advisor to Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif on national security and foreign affairs, had written to the UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon on the escalation of violence along the LOC with India and sought the UN's intervention. In the letter, Aziz said Pakistan believes the UN has an important role to play in promoting the objectives of peaceful resolution of the Kashmir issue.